Mo is in the building.
Hi, everyone. Great to be back. Welcome to Thursday on Your View. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have my co-host. Hi, ladies.
Mo is in the building.
I'm in the building. Enugu says hello.
We greeted them.
I saw that. I know.
Enugu, hi.
I have to give a shout out to Urban Radio, the GM Charles, I think Honey. They really took care of me. I went to the radio, it was fun. And there's another radio station, Cold City FM. I was supposed to go there, but unfortunately I couldn't make it. Trish, I think Trisha or Trish was there, and she really wanted me to come on her radio, but I couldn't. But it was fun. It was just nice being. I ate
You went to Enugu, you didn't get Ugba.
It's Okpa. Okpa.
Yeah.
Okpa.
There's a difference.
I had that. They told me that once you eat Okpa, you can't eat anything all day. You have to be drinking water.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to take a risk. I tasted it. It was a bit bland because I'm not using it. There was no fish or eggs. It was just there. So just took a little bit. It wasn't bad. It wasn't
How
bad.
do you find the city in general? I've been there once.
Yeah, it was nice. It was pretty quiet because I think it was because of the sit at home for IPOP.
Yeah.
So
And
there are lots of
quiet,
people.
the quiet
Yeah,
town.
very
No place
quiet
like
and
Lagos.
calm. And the receptionist, Ifonaya, was very nice lady.
Welcome.
How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm amazing. So Pius Onimisi Phoenix sent me a portrait yesterday. Heavy. I loved the frame. You know, artist doing good. Thank you very much,
You didn't take a
Pius.
picture of that and post
Yeah,
it.
I took a picture.
Right.
I think I already have it on my Instagram. He sent it to me while he was still working.
Right.
So I have it on my Instagram. Now it's to find space because it's a huge frame.
Yeah.
It's to find space. Thank you so very kindly.
Oh.
But aside from that, I'm really amazing. I had a business meeting yesterday. I'm very happy for the month of May. Excited about the things happening that are going to roll into June.
Fantastic. Mariam, what's up?
I'm good. I'm really great. First of all, have you guys noticed my hair?
Hey,
I'm doing it the second
sorry.
time.
Oh.
My hair.
You came with.
Yes,
better than
yes.
this one. That was
You know, I'm a
really-
proponent of suffering for your fashion, but please don't die for your fashion. The one I came with gave me a serious headache.
Wow.
So I took it out. But I'm
Can I
going
just
to
manage
do...
it for the show, though?
No, I would have fainted on the show. I would have. There was no blood. It's just okay, but we'll do that one. When we can carry it, we'll do it again.
That's nice.
But, you know, another thing that just recently, you know, I've been going like through a few tough times. You know, sometimes we sit here and we smile. And I got a mail. I read a mail yesterday and I saw that it was sent to me since 2015. And the person was just saying, thank you for your kindness and things like that. And sometimes when you're like quiet or a bit, some people will call it laid back. You know, they think that maybe you do not have enough personality, but it's not that. Everybody, you can make an impact even if you're quiet.
person, yeah.
You know, there's strength even in quietness, even in the soft-spokenness. You know, you've got strength. So, do you, be you. Own yourself and be confident in who you are. So thank you for that mail I got. It just helped me see things, you know, a bit more clearly.
How you
That's
doing?
beautiful.
Like, you have nothing else to say. Except for all the things, all the
No,
marks
no,
in
no,
your
no,
body.
no. I have plenty to say this
Feel the
morning.
brother.
I've been getting messages on Facebook and Instagram. My fans that have won, you know, to myself from the show On Your View, saying that they like my originality on the show. They like the way I exclaim "Egbe" in my local dialect and all of that. And one of them touched me. He said he connected so much to my personal stories, and that tells him that no matter what he's gone through or what he's going through, he'll still stand since I am standing. And somebody requested for this, that we've missed it on the show. Thank you. So I decided to give it to them.
Yeah, I see you've added another one up here.
Yes.
Are we going to break?
Yes.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll breeze through the front pages of the newspapers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're starting with the Punch. 1.64 billion naira fraud. Ex-Taraba Governor Nyame jailed for 14 years. The convict is a reverend, which means he's a Christian. He's expected to show high level of honesty, piety, and integrity. There is no legal or moral justification for that level of outright stealing. Defendant behaved like a common thief, says judge. Lagos mob attacks police station, burns vehicle over slain Okada rider. Senate probes OAU sex for mark scandal. Raise cigarette tax price, WHO tells federal government. Saraki to Jega, name bribe takers now.
Abi?
Raw drops 4 players as Eagles leave for London. Drama as Melaye resumes, ups to seat the PDP senators. APC governor candidates. Fayemi resigns as minister. We'll take the major headline a bit later because all over the papers. Let's take the human interest story here.
All right.
Who has that mob attack since police station? Yes, go ahead.
No, not that one.
Okay, which one do you want to take? The mob attack at the police station. What happened was that a Colorado rider was trying to be stopped by the police. So the police tried to stop him, but he tried to veer off from the police, and he fell off into the gutter. Now, eyewitness was saying that people started assuming that it was the police that caused him to have that accident. So the police abandoned him, allegedly abandoned him in the gutter, took the bike to the police station. His friends came, picked up his body, took him to the hospital. Unfortunately, he died. Jesus. So they got upset and then went to try to burn things in the police station, and that's what happened here at the mob. Let's move on quickly. Let's take...
Our Nigeria police, we need retraining.
On how to handle issues.
So you're upset that he didn't stop. But how do you handle it now?
But you not left him. If you want to even arrest him, take him to a hospital and tie him down there. You left him to die.
That's a problem. Let's move on very quickly to Daily Sun. Amen. Reverend Yame bags 14 years jail term. Alleged fraud. We have no case to answer, says Kalu. Russia 2018. Don't toy with our feelings. Buhari charges Eagles. Again, blood flows in Kaduna and 8 killed. Dangote, United States of Dangote, donates 150 vehicles to police. Floats 130 million naira micro grant. And IPOP sits at home turns bloody as 2 shot dead in Aba, Newi, as traders shun market. Let's take the 14-year. Go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to do the IPOP here since you said we shouldn't. Okay, for the IPOP story, they enjoyed 70% compliance with their May 30 sit-at-home order, and places were shut down. It was peaceful. They had a protest in different states across the southeast. But in Aba and Enugu, 21 of the...
Not Enugu, because Enugu was very peaceful.
No, they arrested, according to the accounts, they arrested 21 IPOB members in Enugu. In Aba, somebody was shot down. They had a run-in with the police and the army, and also in Newi.
Right, I was in Enugu, and we drove around on that day.
Okay.
And most of the shops were closed.
Oh.
So we're not asking the taxi driver that. How come that? No, that actually some people just prefer... They don't want any trouble, so they're just sitting at home. Not that they're necessarily complying with the iPod, but rather just stay off the street.
So the major headline, the former governor of Taraba State, Reverend Jolly Inyame, has been sentenced to 14 years imprisonment. He was found guilty on 27 of the 41 count charge that was levied against him by the EFCC. One of the crimes, according to the evidences, was that he took out 100 million from the treasury, state's treasury, and used it to entertain former President Olusegun Obasanjo when he came on a visit.
That was a
to
breakdown.
Taraba.
One of the people had the breakdown. I was like, okay, actually,
people are making it about party issues. That he's now in APC, and that the APC government convicted him. But people are saying that his conviction started on the PDP,
yes,
while he was still in the PDP.
Trial started.
His trial started while he was in the PDP, under the PDP
Everybody's
government.
always looking for one way.
And then for me, Taraba is very close to, as you know, my grandmother is from there, and I have family that live in Taraba. Taraba State is quite a poor state, and while he was governor, he really didn't do much. But what the sentiments on the street is that, this could be a witch hunt.
He didn't
But
do
this
much.
is a man that has not developed your state. But they said he paid salaries, he paid gratuities, he paid pension.
On separate occasions.
Yes, common thief. So
yes, he did. And that's one thing about people. Do we want corruption to be fought or not? When we fight corruption and you find someone and the person is arrested, people go about and say, oh, it's a witch hunt. Do you people want corruption to be fought or not?
Let's move on to Nigerian Tribune very quickly. After 11 years, court sentences ex-governor Nyame to 14 years. We talked about that already. NIRA nominates Nigerian Tribune for Best Online Media Website. Fayemi resigns finally. 19-year-old sells 6-year-old brother on credit to suspected ritualists. Court nullifies APC ward LG state congresses in Rivers. 7 dead in Ogun boat accident. IPOP sit-at-home order paralyzes Onitsha, Nnewi. Partial compliance in Enugu. APC reacts as Melaye sits with PDP members in Senate. When are we talking about Melaye?
Just now.
Go ahead.
So, Senator representing Kogi West, Senator Dino Melaye, after his, travails with the Nigerian police, and his hospital visit, came into the Senate yesterday wearing a collarbone and using a walking stick. And rather than sit in his normal seat in the APC, incidentally, Senator Ben Murray-Bruce had just said yesterday that he misses Melai in the Senate. Wow. Senator Melai raised the point of order, asking for the what they call those
Sergeants
people,
at arms.
sergeants at arms, to find him a comfortable, in quotes, seat on the PDP side.
Suggesting that possibly his current seat isn't comfortable, and rather somewhere more comfortable on the PDP side.
He thanked his APC colleagues for supporting him during his travails. And Senator Saraki, Senate President, said, okay, we will look into what you've asked, your requests, and ensure that wherever you are comfortable.
That he had decamped PDP. And that was told.
But before we even go off, he made an accusation. He said the Nigerian police tried to kill him on 2 occasions.
Yes.
One to poison him and then to inject him. Dino Melai is chief commander in drama. So we don't
a 19-year-old man, okay, he's a man now, sold his brother, 6-year-old brother, to a ritualist for money. He was the plan was to pay him 20,000 after the boy had started vomiting money. So while the transaction was going on, the residents noticed and called on the police. Now, this money in question is what he wanted to use to marry another 14-year-old girl, a 19-year-old using money to marry, and so you have to sell your brother.
Where are their parents?
This is
being investigated.
What, did they leave alone? I mean,
that was the story. Didn't give us all of those
anyway.
details.
I don't even know how to.
We need to be talking more about parenting issues
yes.
on a daily.
People need options on what to do. They are clueless, especially with teenagers. Let's move on now to New Telegraph. We have so many papers, but we can't get through to all of them. New Telegraph, ex-PDP governor in trouble. We talked about that already. Police attempted to poison me, that's Melai. Dangote donates 150 operational vehicles to police. Southeast, South, defy IPOP sit-at-home order. 1 killed as Biafran agitators shut down. So, Alhaji Dangote.
Yes,
yes,
I do. Alhaji Aliko Dangote donated 150 fully kitted vehicles to the Nigerian police, and he said it's to help them in fighting crime, maintaining law and order, and for surveillance. So we're very happy. You know, VP was there, and he was so grateful. He says that this is an entrepreneur with a difference, always willing, to give to the poor. We love him.
Nigeria. You need a state called Dangote.
I'm telling you,
I'll relocate to that state. I will abandon Lagos and I'll relocate to that state. I am from Dangote State.
Let me just say, well done, sir.
Thank you very much,
we ask that they continue doing tax holiday for you.
Tax waivers for you. But, I mean, that's good. At least he's doing something,
It's more than at least. He's doing a lot.
He's doing a lot.
He's doing a lot.
If we just take a show to just focus on Alhaji Dangote and all the stuff he's doing.
Let me give you something else. Femi Otedola put out a video yesterday saying that he went visiting Alhaji Dangote at his refinery in Lekki, Lagos. It's almost done.
Imagine that.
Wow.
So we need a show to focus on Alhaji
Dangote.
1 week.
Nigeria PLC.
Nigeria PLC.
1 week.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, it's Thursday. It's not me, they're not suspend me.
Okay.
Church checking genitals before marriage. Is it true or not true? Stay with us. Or is it necessary or unnecessary? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So a church wedding recognizes God's divine plan for marriage and indicates that the couple seek the blessings of heaven upon their relationship and the home they're about to establish. But in a situation where rules now become a law to follow, example is a recent law causing a lot of controversy on social media by a particular church asking intending couples to undergo genital examination as part of their premarital assessment. What are your thoughts on this? Join the conversation on 8066801. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Now, before we start discussing, I called one or two pastors that I know from this group, from this denomination.
Yeah.
And they told me categorically that they can't really confirm if indeed, but they heard about it, they heard it went viral, but they didn't see the document themselves, but they can't totally confirm that indeed authentic.
Why are they telling you the truth?
I don't know.
I'm not a member of that
so
church.
For the point is that,
but
so
I
nobody
have that
should,
document.
so let's not bring up the name of the church because we cannot categorically state that it's from the church. Now let's go to what the issue
on ground.
Is it appropriate for
Mary,
genital assessment?
Okay, I believe that every church has a right to have their rules and their regulations governing their church members. This is not for the public, it's for the church. So if they've come out to say that this is what we want, if you are not comfortable with it as a church member, you take a walk. Secondly, as a relationship expert, I handle two similar cases. One, a close relative, and the other, a friend who, someone who saw me speak at an event. The case was, they had this courtship, Christian courtship without sex. And then they got into the marriage and realized that the guy could not perform. For my close relative, 2 years, there was no sex in that marriage till she left. So for the church to come, and remember that the church preaches no divorce, except in the case of infidelity. So for them to come out and say, this is how we are going to be running it from now onwards.
There was a need.
There was a need for it. Imagine if that my relative had that opportunity, she wouldn't have gotten into the mess that she found herself in.
In situations where you're not a member of the church, but you're marrying somebody from the church, and they're demanding this of you, and you're thinking, and now you're wondering, that is disrespectful to me as a person, and
I don't think so.
So what in your view, Mariam?
The church has always been a leader. The congregation is the flock and the sheep, and the leaders of the church is the shepherd. And the church has recognized that there are problems within its church, and it has looked and it has found a solution. This is a modern day church, you know, with modern day issues. So we need to look for modern day solutions for it. I know the first thing is to castigate it, but I looked through the document, I looked and I asked some questions. And the reason why this church is doing this is because there have been cases of emotional abuse on the part of one of the spouses, where you're in a marriage and you're accused of not being able to give birth. Meanwhile, this marriage was contracted probably with the knowledge of the other party, knowing that they had this, issue, very aware of their health status, left you in the dark, did not know anything about it, and yet you are going through so much emotional abuse because of it. And so in order to, take care of that issue, and that is why they've brought it. And so every time a church comes out like this and brings something, the first thing we want to do is to attack it. First of all, let's look for the reason why, what's the motive?
The issue of invasion of privacy. Because Jumoke is the proponent of we have to fall in love. It's all about the love. When there's that love factor, and you don't really care, for you, it's a side thing to be checking, or your blood genotype, what do you call that thing? Genotype and all that. So in those kind of situations where we can get head over heels in love, that we forget to ask the right questions, do you think, Jumoke, that this was actually maybe a meaningful decision on the part of the church?
You, who is in love, may forget. Your counselor should not. Okay. That's why churches do 6 months. 6 months. Some people get married in 3 months, so a church will say you need 6 months. They have a reason for that. In response to Miriam, there's also annulment based on deceits. Okay. Because it is the Bible that said that we should be virgins when we marry. The church that says no divorce will annul a marriage once they realize that somebody deceived you. Come the next day and say he doesn't have genitals. It is immediately annulled. I don't think that we need to wait for that, but I'm just saying that there's also that, just in case. But now, to go to Obiajulu, who says that if you do not agree with what a church is doing, then don't go there. If all of us allow human beings to do the things that they want to do, we will be doing humanity a disservice. Example, Reverend King, there are people who believe in him. Okay. He has been convicted of a crime. They'll say, that's how Jesus was killed. And those human beings have enough Bible passages. They can go to the Old Testament in the days where if you sin now, it's to stone you to death, and use that as their ground. Now, let me tell you an example. Timi Dakolo, on his Instagram page yesterday was talking about a pastor in Abuja who is molesting teenage girls. He didn't mention name. Okay. And a lot of people sort of guessed the pastor, and they were now mentioning names. Guess what a lot of people were saying? Don't judge, don't judge, don't judge. Truly, it's not my business to judge. But Christ, who we are like, which is what makes us Christians, went into the church and beat money doublers. Right. Today, Christians would have told Jesus Christ, why are you judging them?
Right. Okay, on this issue, they've always been having tests. It's a prerequisite to before you are wedded in a church.
HIV,
yes,
and genotype.
And genotype.
Some people do, because one of our makeup artists said that she was asked to open up.
This to me is an addition because of the problem. Do you know how many millions of cases the church would have encountered along these lines? So this is an addition to that test. And if you're not comfortable with having that kind of test, go to another church.
Hang in there. What happens to the angle of being adults? Okay, we're two adults about to get married, and we being honest, we taking responsibility. Same thing, the same way we blame the government. The government do this, do that. Can't we take responsibility and ensure that, okay, we're about to get into marriage? Can we be truthful to ourselves? Can we take responsibility for each other? Why must it be the church? God bless you. Regulate that.
Mariah, let me answer this question. You see, this thing of investigating the other person is not a church thing.
Exactly.
Traditionally, when you're getting married, I hope we're on the same side. Because traditionally, when we're about to get married, the villagers will go and check your lineage.
Yes.
Who is this person? Family. This family, they always have headaches, or this one, they have, seizures.
They have madness.
So we have that. But the thing is that now it's a new world. Do you understand? People who used to get married in communities, you knew who you were getting married to.
Exactly.
But now marriages have been contracted across the country,
from Facebook,
across the world. So the common denominator is the church. So the church has stepped in. Yes, the church has stepped, or religious bodies have stepped in now. In the case of, in the place of parents or families, where families were able to do this, but now the churches have better resources to be able to do, make this investigation.
What's the objective of checking genitals?
The objective.
Wait, one after the other.
Okay. So should I go?
In this case.
It's a rhetorical question, I know.
Yes.
You want to know that both of them can do, Abby?
No, that's not the
You
case.
want to make sure that both of them are aware
of whatever issues they have.
So if you want to go in faith and say, okay,
pray on
I know that I cannot give birth, but I'm going in faith with you.
Wait.
In marriage.
Genitals is how you determine if the person cannot give birth.
No. Okay, that's what it got
from. It's part of
the letter.
Understand the point. The point you're trying to make is that it's important that both parties are aware of each other's status. So I know that you're a guy.
And they can't be by themselves.
See, that's
how many people do it?
Do you need to
Why not? Why? You want to marry somebody?
We're supposed to be celibate. Remember, we're supposed to be celibate.
Hold on. I'm not asking you to have sex.
Right.
How do you find out?
You find out her character. You went to go and visit her parents and her parents-in-law. Okay. So you do not want to know if her breast is real. And
you know you're not having sex.
Excuse me. Let's stop deceiving ourselves.
Okay,
Won't you find out?
How?
You will find out. Okay, are your things there or not?
Let's go on a break. When we come, we're going to bring the pastor. She's going to help us put this thing in proper perspective. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So joining us to continue this conversation is Pastor Aduke Obi. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you.
To give us your view, you can call us on 070-806-6814. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Madam, so in your view, is this a necessary thing to doctrine, church doctrine for the church, do you think?
Well, it is necessary considering the things that have been happening in marriages.
Right.
And I believe that the church that put this out have had to deal with such tremendous amount of issues. Okay. Marriages being broken and having to go through marriage counseling and lots of things like that. So, you know, we always have to go to the motive of why something is being done.
Okay. I know Joke has a question. I think I have an idea the question she wants to ask. But let me just try to rephrase that question before she asks it. Oh my God. As two Christians coming together, do you think they should have some sort of connection such that they know these things, not sex. They know these things. They don't need the church to bring some kind of rule or law. There should be some kind of, I don't want to use the word smooching, but something such that you have an idea that something stands, something comes down, something sits, something doesn't, you know? At least, not by doing the do, but as a Christian, do you think that's permissible? Or we're not supposed to even go there at all?
We are not supposed to go there at all.
As a Christian.
Where is it written in the Bible?
As a Christian.
Where is it written in the Bible?
It's part of fornication.
No, I disagree.
Okay.
Point taken.
That's the truth. You should not even go there at all.
Wow.
Because when you do, what is the aim? Because in life, anything we do has a reason.
May I interrupt you to then ask, how did our great-grandparents, because they, in those days, had to even show the bedsheet to show she was a virgin.
Yes.
How did they find out the genitals of the man or the woman?
They didn't find out.
They didn't find out.
So what happens to such marriages after?
They stayed there.
Yeah.
And then you have to realize that times have evolved. And also all kinds of issues have evolved with times.
Okay, hold on, sorry, Obejili.
It's okay.
In agreeing with you that times have evolved, and I agree that culture is the lifestyle of a people per time.
Right.
I think that the church is focusing on fruits rather than roots.
I disagree.
Why I say that is you are finding genitals, you're not even really talking about the character. If both of them their genitals are working, divorce may still happen, regardless of genitals. Okay. For instance, when Freeze was talking about tithe, all of us went at him. That, why are you doing this, are you doing that? But Jesus Christ himself reprimanded the people of his time that do not focus on on tithes, and forget the real issues. Right. Justice, love, kindness.
The real issues today.
So the real issues.
These are the real issues today.
I disagree.
No, it is the real
But
issue.
let me let you come in.
Okay, so over time, I've been worried that the church had concentrated more on spiritual aspect of a believer's life and ignored the physical aspect. And so we've had cases of, okay, I'm a spirit gym Christian, and then I fail in my marriage. I'm not able to satisfy my husband sexually or satisfy my wife sexually. So this, for me, is a step in the right direction. They have taken charge now that for you to be in this place, if you don't meet this prerequisite, it's not by force. It's not for the public. I mentioned it
and still go to hell.
No, it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about the fact that we live in this plane.
Okay,
we need to learn how to navigate this plane.
Let me let you come in here again.
You know, these are issues per time. Because the church is taking charge in this area doesn't mean they are neglecting other areas.
Should they take charge in that area, madam?
Yes,
Should they?
do
you think the church is the church's role
to
help navigate relations? They're two adults. So, I mean, where does taking responsibility for your own body, ensuring even if you want to go by faith, say, okay, you don't have issues, you have issues. By faith, we'll pray it out and God will deliver us.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be something based on couple.
But you forget that if there's an issue, the church solves it.
We're also dealing with individuals.
Right.
If individuals are not honest enough and transparent enough to say the truth or speak the truth, the church is the pillar and the ground of truth. And so they have that obligation towards their members.
Yes.
To say, okay, if people are not going to be truthful about who they truly are, then let's help. Because the whole essence is to help people make an informed decision. Good. So I know what I'm going into. If we have negative results, I know what I'm going into. So I make that decision.
Okay, let me pause.
Based on that knowledge.
I'll let you come in, Mariam.
And then I can stand on faith if I want to.
Okay, let me let you go, Mariam. Go ahead.
Okay, so my thing is, this is not about attacking the church, you know. Every time they come up with something, I have attacked a lot of the doctrines that have come in recently, and I'm like, where does this come in? So for me, this is not even about for church or against church. This is about this particular doctrine.
Yeah.
For me, this particular doctrine is timely and it is necessary. And as you pointed out, it's because of dishonesty. People who have said that they are church members, who have said they have given their lives to Christ, have put people in a position where, you know, they are abused. And another thing is that we fail to understand. Here we sit down as women and we're talking about abuses that women go through in marriages. This is one of the reasons that this doctrine has been put in place.
I wanted to quickly add, before you come in, I wanted to come to you that you say the church has got no rights, that you're adults. But you forget that the church solves the issues. When those marriages crumble, you call your pastor, you call your imam, and all of that.
Who is going to do the genital examination?
Doctors.
Hospitals. Hospitals. Yes. So you send us to a hospital to go and check, and then we bring results.
Yes.
Why are you doing it? Because somebody may be dishonest. What if he bribes the doctor and it comes with fake results?
That's a different issue.
That's a different issue. Rather than deal with the character of the people who are lying, you want to be dealing with the fruits of their
very good character. Every Sunday, every Wednesday, that is the dealing with the character. Even if you come to church and they preach to you about the fruits of the Spirit, that's dealing with the character. But then there are serious physical issues on ground, and we cannot be blind and, pretend to be naive or too intelligent not to realize that these are things that are breaking up homes every day in our country.
Here, man. I mean, yes.
On the issue of character, I still believe that on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, these things are still being dealt with.
Yes.
You have the house fellowships, you have the midweek services, and different other programs that do come on are dealing with these issues. But here we have these peculiar issues with marriage.
Can I say something, sir? Okay, so if somebody's from an Orthodox church who they don't do this kind of things and is marrying into one of these Pentecostal churches, and they're demanding, and he's like, listen, this invasion of my privacy, I choose not to. And it's in that kind of situation where the people who are supposed to be engaged in this, and as I'm saying categorically they don't want to get involved, what would you suggest the church, what would you suggest the couple, the woman who belongs to that church, what would you, as a pastor, what would you suggest you do?
Go to court, Jare, leave church wedding.
Leave the church.
They don't have to get married in church.
It's not by force, yes.
So they can go ahead and do it. So at least she knows that she made that decision. Then when the problem does come up or should come up, if it does come up, then she knows that she made that decision.
On treating fruits. Because really and truly, we can decide to go to church, to the courts. It's not church marriage that is the legal one. No. You can go and do traditional marriage and court marriage. But I'm talking about churches bringing up all sorts of funny doctrines on a daily. There's another one about beard gang. Don't come with Taliban beards. There's somebody in TVC.
That also can be confirmed.
I have not mentioned him.
That also can be confirmed.
I'm just saying that there's somebody who they were saying that she got married. She did her traditional marriage, but they hadn't done the church wedding, and the pastors were saying you can't go sleep with your husband because if we find out that you're pregnant on the wedding, they said on their wedding day they test them. So I don't know how they do the test. I don't even want to imagine. Hold on. The point I'm going to is that another thing. The things that Jesus held dear. For instance, Jesus paid his tax. He never paid tithe. Our pastors are not preaching those things. They are finding different things that do not matter. In 6 months of doing counseling with somebody, with a couple, you can advise on all the checks that they need to do. But don't make it a church doctrine that if you don't do this, and I reiterate that if sane human beings do not oppose some of these things, all sorts of churches will come up with all sorts of funny doctrines.
So your issue is that if we don't stop this one, more doctrines will come.
For instance, which one is Taliban beard now?
Why do you want to stop what is solving an issue?
Which issue is he solving?
Come on. There's a reason for it.
Come on.
So let's look at the motive and let's look at, for every doctrine, I don't think it's really a doctrine.
Right.
Well, it's just a rule.
It's a rule.
To guide their people.
To just guide themselves.
Don't you think that...
This is not a doctrine issue. I want to focus on the issue.
Okay,
right.
Jumoke's point.
Right. Yes.
We are talking to that point now.
Go ahead.
Okay, that point where you're insisting that we do it a certain way is also just like the extreme case of what the church, what you're accusing the church of doing. We want people to be able to think for themselves. We're encouraging critical thinking, right? So we should be able to give them advice. That is my own point. So if someone brings up a doctrine you do not like, you're allowed to choose what what works for you and what does not.
To stay or go.
To insist that it should be completely phased out is almost the same thing as what the church or what you're accusing the church of doing, which is your insistence.
Yes.
So that's what we have some tweets on this.
Yes, I do. Michael says the church has no business to check genitals in order to confirm if persons involved can perform or conceive. A simple test will solve it. I think it's wrong for a church to check people's genitals in the name of marriage. Kike Morenike says nonsense. Like this is only witnessed in developing countries where people are vulnerable and easily manipulated. The same church should try this in the UK, US, and watch how the authorities will clamp them on them. Proudly, Ekiti Babe says, you are always on point, talking to Jumoke. ETC Food says, when the churches have sacrificed holiness and purity for gospel of easy riches and wealth, why will they not jump into what is not their call? After genitals, let them check womb viability.
Right. Okay, anyway, we have to go on a break, but the truth is that a lot of women who are going through these issues, where they got into marriage, or even a lot of men found out that women, their wives can't get married, would wish somebody had done this test before they got into that marriage. So let's look at both sides.
I had to do something.
Let's go on the break. When we come back, we'll take more tweets and phone calls.
The church isn't doing it. The church is saying.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
So thanks very much for staying with us. So we actually had a question.
Yes, on Twitter, actually, by Limbo. She says, Song of Solomon 8:4, I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, that ye stir not up, nor awake my love until it pleases. He says, how do you confirm without sinning except medical test? As a relationship expert, I handle 2 cases. Single me, I don't even have an office yet. And then he made me to do a video on YouTube on how you can actually check without having sex.
How?
So you go on YouTube and watch the video.
No,
how you can check without having sex. It's a long video. So how do you check without committing sin, aside from the medical doctors?
Aside from the medical doctor, I can't think of any other way to check without committing
Listen,
sin.
So it's simple.
So tell us now. Tell us, how do you check without doing the do?
Without doing the do, okay, first of all, you have to take care of, you have to understand body language. Now, you are dating somebody who likes you, and you come close to the person. Of course, it's not every time, according to me. So it's not every time you go there that you sit 2 poles apart. You come close, the body mechanisms will be working. No.
That doesn't
You're
tell.
checking.
That
The mechanisms will be working. You will be able to check the heart rate. It's a long video, so you can watch it on YouTube.
Let me take this call. I think I have a
and
call.
get it.
Thanks for calling. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning to you all.
Morning. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
The issue, if there is a problem, there's always a provision for, if there is no cause, I don't think the church will make arrangement for that kind of doctrine. During our forefathers that you talked about, in their own case, they have right to marry, remarry, divorce. If they have right to remarry anybody, divorce. But in this our dispensation at the church age, and with the Bible has said that once you are married forever. And as a result of that, if challenges arise as a result of that, and the church bring out that doctrine, I don't think there is anything bad in that.
Yeah. I think going back to the point that was stated earlier, you see, it goes back to the issue of faith. That do we really have faith? Do we really believe this thing we are preaching? If you're a couple and say, listen, I'm a Christian, I'm not sleeping with you, you're not sleeping with me, but we're going in this thing together. So if I truly believe this word I'm saying, shouldn't that be enough to get into that marriage, even without doing genital testing? I think that's the point she was trying to make earlier.
That will work.
Let me hang in there.
I think that will work if both of you are virgins, and then you are truthful to one another. I think if both of you are truthful to one another, and honest, and you both believe in God. Because sometimes you find that some people are in church, but are they really believers? Right. Are they really Christians?
Yes, and for me, give me the option to decide to use my faith with you in this marriage.
And some people are there just to get married.
Right.
And so what if somebody falls in trap of that?
Right.
You know,
factors
it's been happening quite often,
right.
And I believe that is the reason why the church is saying, let's step in and let people make informed decisions. It's the same thing with the genotype testing.
HIV testing.
And HIV. If I know that, okay, this person is HIV positive, then
I had to do HIV before getting married.
I had to do it. This was 29 years ago. I had to do it. It was even the state that insisted that it had to be done.
Let me take this call from Uwolabi. Are you there?
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, don't let us deceive ourselves and be hiding under religion or anything. You have to go and check yourself. Do the do and know if this person is best for you.
Before marriage?
Do the do. Do the do.
That's not what we're trying to preach here, please. Thank you very much.
Okay, so let me say again, and I don't want to repeat myself, that the real issues that we have, you put people under pressure to marry. They are dating somebody rather than looking at him. That if this guy, he changes in the next 10 years, will I stay with him? If this woman, she never has children, because it's God who gives children, will I stay with her? Rather than going through dating just to ascertain if I want to really spend my entire life with you. We have put people under pressure. Dating has become superficial, surreal, and everything. We are now having problems in our marriages. Rather than treating those issues, you want to be asking, are his genitals
so
working?
we're helping.
Let me finish what I wanted to say, Mariah, forgive me. So when people now started, and when you interrupt me, I usually forget what I want.
Sorry about that.
Why?
But what I was trying to finish up was saying that, are you now saying that the definition of marriage have been given that children, sex, and marriage sometimes doesn't have to have that.
It doesn't have to have that.
You can actually just have that companion.
Yes.
So, there's a pastor right now who's married and doesn't have children.
Yes.
And he's perfectly okay with the companion. So if we put in that definition of have children, have this, that's when these issues of genital testing.
It even further makes the church point as far as I'm concerned. Let me just drop this one before you take the tweet. I mean, it makes the point of the church, which is give me the option of knowing what I'm going into.
Exactly.
My own option is that you will know it yourself now. No, sir, says this is nonsense. First, the church is a spiritual place. The church should stop making things up as they go along. Why will you check genitals? It's the responsibility of the intending people to do their own homework. It's absurd, and the church should guide. Akonse Oluwa says, please, Auntie Jumoke, I think you need to read more. You would have known that the church asked a hospital, I'm correcting his grammar, which they have registered to do the medical examination.
Doing the test.
Ade Roju says, Jumoke, I'm with you on this. Every individual is responsible for their own body. As the Bible says, the doctrine of men introduced to dissuade people from the truth.
Let me take this call. Morning, are you still there? Been holding for a while. Hello? Oh, he's out.
I have one tweet here.
Yes,
Charles Udo, it says, there are binding laws and principles governing every group or council. The Bible talks about faith without works. However, the foundation of marriage is spiritual, but marriage itself is physical. Both intending couples should know themselves.
Okay. At the heart of this
we have to round up. Let me let our pastor have the last word.
Pastors who say eat grass, and human beings who eat grass.
Because they want to eat the grass. They want to eat the grass. They want to eat the grass. Why are they eting the grass? You can't tell me to eat grass. Why would you ask the Bible to eat grass?
Okay, let me let you let me let our guests have the final word. In your view, just talk to our viewers. In your view, what are your final thoughts on this?
I believe that the church has the marriage institution at heart. And we all know that marriage is lasting when it's forever. Once you get in through the door of marriage, the door of divorce is shut. And so to help you make better informed decisions, the world talks about educated consumer. So I don't see the reason why when you want to get into marriage, you should not know what you're getting into. If there's nothing to hide, I don't see why we should talk about it. Because this test shouldn't even be asked. The church shouldn't step in to do this because we are not doing it on our own. So I think that is where the educated person comes in. You need to do this test on your own.
Thank you very much for coming. Now we have to...
Is the pastor's wife complaining to you? Is the pastor's wife complaining to you?
Well, we have to thank TL Boulevard. They brought this cake for us this morning. We were pretty surprised.
Yes, for
because
our
fifth anniversary was on Tuesday, and we're still going to celebrate it. We're going to announce the celebration very soon. But thank you so much, TL Boulevard, for this beautiful cake. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. All right, that's all we can take on the show today. Hope you enjoyed the show. And please, we would prefer that you don't do the do before marriage. But if you choose to, be responsible.
Don't do it, but go and check.
Go and check. Are you responsible? Let's not fake as if people are not doing it. Yeah. But be responsible.
People are your own.
Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Marry as a virgin.